trying to get out there and make an impact and be positive and do good things. But the second you stop being humble and you stop realizing that the talents you have that is enabling you to give is God-given, and the second you start looking more at the opinions of others and the opinion of yourself and into that conceit, then, oh my gosh, it's an absolute game changer. So good morning, everybody. We're doing something a little different today, or I'm doing something a little different today. We are doing our podcast this morning, the Pursuit of Awesomeness podcast. We're doing it live on Facebook this morning. So for those of you on live on Facebook, hello. Hope you're all doing good. But we are going to be recording this and sending it out and putting it as podcast number 8 in the series. So appreciate everybody jumping on. We got some people going on, so hello, good to see you all. Hope everyone's having a great Monday. We're having a good Monday here, definitely having a good Monday. But the proverbial but, I wanted to talk about humbleness. And it's the last, we'll say a couple months have been more rewarding in so many ways. When you go into business on your own, I think that there's an amount of reward when it comes to freedom and time and things like that are just absolutely, you can't put a value on it. But at the end of the day, when you do things on your own, you have to take the brunt of, well, any amount of failure that comes with going out on your own. You know, you're the name next to the business, you're the name next to the effort, you're the face of that. So I wanted to talk about being humble today, and I've been humbled a little bit in what I do. I do a lot of personal branding with people, and we use a site, I don't know if you've ever heard of it, it's called Photo Feeler, photofeeler.com. It's a great site when you're dealing with personal branding with clients to get gauges, some out of the box or out of the kind of market research where you can post pictures. People will evaluate the pictures. They'll evaluate your brand and things like that, so you can get some really good data. So the last couple of weeks, I've started really focusing on my own personal brand and making changes for my personal brand, which is something that is new. You know, I've always spent time on other people's brand, not my own. And so going on to Photo Feeler, I put on some of the profile pictures that I've used, the photo that I use for the Pursuit of Awesomeness, and just got some solicited feedback, but some feedback that I really, really had to look at and take with a, I'll say with a grain of salt, but really had to be honest with myself about where we were. You know, we like to think that we always throw out great content and, you know, that we're making a difference and being influential, and, you know, people view us as, I'll tell you that the 3 categories that they evaluate are your competence, your likability, and your influence. And so it's all picture based. And going through some pictures, 2 of my favorite pictures and 2 of the pictures that I've used the most of, actually my absolute favorite picture is a picture taken, I was at a client's photo shoot, and it was taken by Cammie Bradley, and I got a score of 8% competence, 16% likability, and 11% influential. So really had to reevaluate, holy cow, what am I doing with that, and take that for that's a benchmark, right? Like, not take that personal, take that as, what is it about this? What is it about this picture that gives it that score, that gives it that opinion, that rating from the outside? So the last, what will be the last little bit, we've really focused on that, and we realized that so much of it is artificial. And when you're talking social media, this is what I do for a living, but so much of it is so artificial because I look at a picture that I just love. Like I think speaks to who I want to be. I think it speaks to myself as a person, and I look at what others think of it, and all of a sudden it begins to change my view of that picture, of that feel, of what we are doing. And I found myself trying to make changes based on other people's opinions. And so I caught myself, and I really had to, to self-reflect and say, this is not other people's life. This is not other people's business. This is what I want to do. So I put up other pictures and got other pictures evaluated, and some of the pictures that I did not like as much, some of my early pictures, I had one that was 85% likable, 88% competent, and 66% influential, which for that score is really good score. And in my mind, I'm like, well, shoot, I should use that one. That is what the people want to see. But the more I do that, the less true I think I'm being to myself. And so it's really something that's been on my mind and heart is being humble. Being humble about delivering content that is valuable to people, because that's what I want to do. That's what I want to help my clients do, obviously. But also being humble to the fact that people, no matter what, it's not going to be 100% across the board. And at the end of the day, if someone thinks I'm 8% competent, or if a group of 111 people think a picture is 8% competent, that doesn't mean that I'm 8% competent. That means that picture, through their frame, through their lens, gives that feeling. So humbling myself is definitely something that I've had to do a lot of recently. So I've done some research on different ways to humble myself and different perspectives, different points of views. And one of the best things that I did and I found was a quote that said, "Remember the days you prayed for the things that you have now." And that really made an impact, because this I don't know, kind of knocks you down a little bit when people aren't responding in a way that you'd want them to. But seeing that quote, "Remember the days you prayed for the things you have now." And so often I can look back very vividly and remember praying that I'd be in a position to have my own business, praying I'd be in the position that I'm in now, praying that I'd have a house and a car paid off and no debt and friends and great family and great kids. And so at the end of the day, I have to remember those days and the work that went into getting to today, and appreciate that, as opposed to being so myopic and so focused on what could be considered the negative. So really having to remind myself that constantly. And again, it comes down to humbling yourself to what you're capable of. There's one more quote that I want to read, and this is, I think whenever I do anything that is about being true to myself and being true to who I am, that this quote, that this philosophy, this mindset is, "Talent is God-given. Be humble. Fame is man-given. Be grateful. Conceit is self-given. Be careful." And that is so true. I mean, that the talent is God-given, and be humble. And the talents that I have, the talents that other people have, when you start to boast about those too much, it comes across and it stops, it dilutes the positive impact you can have, on the world, right? Everybody's trying to get out there and make an impact and be positive and do good things. But the second you stop being humble and you stop realizing that the talents you have that is enabling you to give is God-given, and the second you start looking more at the opinions of others and the opinion of yourself and into that conceit, then, oh my gosh, it's an absolute game changer. So today, my big advice to everybody is to be humble. To be humble with yourself. Don't fall into that conceit. Don't fall into the opinion of others. There's a value. Again, I'm in marketing. Like, this is what I do. I have to go to Photo Feeder and I have photo feeler, and I have to look at those values, and I have to make business decisions that are right for my client, right for the brand, and right for people. But at the end of the day, I have to be able to separate the personal and the opinions of others from ultimately like the opinions of what really matters, and to take appreciation for the good things that I have. So remember that what you have right now is so much of what you wish that you would have had previously. That made no sense. So remember that the days you prayed for are the things that you have now. Remember that where you are at this very moment are things that you prayed for, things that you've wished for, things that you've worked for, and things that if you've followed your God-given talent and you've been humble and you've stayed that course to your God-given talent, you've received rewards. But the second you fall into looking at others and that self-conceit, then there's trouble. So I appreciate everybody listening in. Oh my gosh, Melissa, thank you so much. I think you're awesome too. I'm going to just like that. Thank you, Aaron. So the struggle of entrepreneurship, it's fun and it's real, but it is so rewarding, and it is so, being able to do this, being able to just talk to people, being able to have authentic conversations with people. That's why I love the interview podcast, is I've been able to sit down with people and just have an hour-long conversation. And that doesn't happen in everyday life. Like, you don't just sit down with someone, at least I don't, and have an hour-long conversation unless it's planned and plotted out. And I don't get to, in a lot of instances, speak my mind and heart unless I'm in this avenue. So this podcast will be posted on the Pursuit of Awesomeness, but again, it is live on Facebook. So appreciate all the love and support. Hey everyone, thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed the podcast, subscribe on Podbean, SoundCloud, or iTunes today. Please remember to like and drop us a comment. We really, really appreciate that. And we will see you later this week. We have a really, really special guest coming out on Thursday. So everyone have a great week. Talk to you next time.